Nah, I mean, I got some connections here from just back in the day, and me and Boo were really close. He kept up with me, when football wasn't even a reality for me at one point. So, that mean a lot, and just to step into a program, step under some coaching that's going to, help elevate my game, get me prepared for the next level while, it's such a rich culture here so far as, what they've been able to do on the ground, and, how they kind of lean behind their running backs. And so, that's just something that, I wanted to be a part of so bad. And, that ultimately kind of what led to the decision to me transfer.
What's the process been like trying to just get acclimated to this offensive system and everything? How difficult or seamless?
Yeah, no, it's been relatively smooth. Like, got a, real pro style offense, nothing that I'm new to. So, Coach Hamden, he real cool. He real cool with the guys. He's a smooth dude. So, he young, but he's super smart. And, he able to really kind of put things in a picture, really get us to schematically understand things that ultimately be the reflection on whether we're successful or not in the offense. So,
Seth, when you take the field and start running the ball for Kentucky, what can fans expect to see from you just as a player?
Just a lot of passion, like nothing but passion, nothing but pure intent, and will to win and dominate. Like, I'm a very serious dude just when it comes to, what I'm doing, and it's been like he said, it's just been a journey here. It's been a lot of things that I'm running behind. So, they can expect a lot, for sure.
At SEC Media Days in Atlanta, we talked to some of your teammates, and Josh Caddis, Jordan Level, really impressed with you. Said you're going to be a really good player for the Kentucky, and Mark Stoops kind of said the same thing on Monday. Just what have you done since you've got on campus that you think has caught people's attention so far?
Nothing really outside of myself. I haven't really done anything new. Kind of had the same formula that I've always had. Is just be the hardest worker in the room, be a contributor to the room. I've never wanted to be a guy that's just somewhere present and not contributing anything. So I just look to contribute in whatever way that I can. And a lot of that is mentoring a lot of these young dudes. But like I said, it's ultimately this being my last year. It's like it's time to go. And so, looking forward for a big shake back this year for just this team. And so I've just been in there with just a lot of passion every day, fam. I think they just honestly feel the fire of what I'm about, and what I'm hoping to bring to when the season starts. So I think that's ultimately what they just sense behind me is just, bro, like, I'm just very passionate about.
Just personally, sorry if you answered this already, just how does it feel for you in this journey you've been on just to get back to this kind of level, to play at this level?
Yeah, obviously it's nothing short of a blessing, and it's something that I'm beyond grateful for, but like I said, I had to get, this is somewhere I had to get back to, and this, I went through a lot, there were a lot of hard times and a lot, but simply that I just want people to know that this is what choosing faith looks like. When you choose faith and you focus on the opportunity and not the obstacle, you'll be led in the right places around the right people, and that's where ultimately I feel like the decision was so easy for me to come here is because I could tell the group of guys that truly are here, and we're very family oriented, and we don't care about anything else other than what's going on, what people say behind the scenes. And so that's what I'm about. That's how I like things, and it's kind of a us versus the world thing. So I just wouldn't rather be anywhere else. I feel like this is all kind of a divine interaction, just with the coaches here and their history, the OU, and so yeah, man, it's I'm just grateful every day, every second.
feel like that played a big role, just the Oklahoma relationship with the Stoops guys and Coach Boulware?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted the staff to be a little bit familiar with me and, you know, kind of make the transition as smoothly as possible. Like I said, with it being my last year, and, you know, I had hopped in the portal the first time and hopped out in a very brief manner just because, you know, hearing about all of the stuff you hear about with the portal games and the politics and stuff, kind of, you know, getting caught up in that. I feel like here, you know, it's kind of like they confirmed everything that, you know, I was worried about. And so, you know, kind of got rid of all of those worries. And, you know, from that point, I was, you know, just ready to go. I've been ready to play since I took my visit, you know. So, yeah, I'm just all aboard.
How difficult was it?
Just slightly differently depending on the situation of the field, but I think it's a very balanced attack, and I think it'll be really hard to deal with for a lot of defenses. I think it's a very hard thing to game plan. You know, when you got two guys on the field, especially when you get us on the field at the same time, it's kind of like, you know.
How important was your relationship with Coach Boulware to getting you here this offseason?
Yeah, it was big. Like I said, I wanted to go somewhere, a program where I knew, you know, I just kind of had some familiarity and vice versa, and, you know, didn't want to play too much in any games. I just didn't want to take that risk any of that, you know, going into my last year. And so it was big. Like I said, he checked up on me a lot throughout the years, you know, even when I wasn't playing, even when he was in the NFL, and, you know, he wasn't even coaching ball. So, you know, that mattered a lot, you know, I think to me and my family. I wanted my family to feel comfortable about, you know, where I was going to. And so, but he's great. You know, obviously very decorated, IQ out through the roof, you know, and, you know, I think it's actually kind of cool. You got a former O-lineman and an O-line coach that's, you know, coaching you at running back. You know, that's actually a really good thing. You know, you kind of really get to breaking down defenses, breaking down fronts, and, you know, try to make the game as easy as possible.
You're also not the only New Mexico State guy here,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So what's your relationship like with Pete?
Yeah, no, it's big. We was in Las Cruces, burning up. We was down there hustling hard, and, you know, trying to help that program and all the great people that are there. And we became pretty a little more successful toward the end of the season last year, but definitely built up a big bond with him. Just, you know, through there, New Mexico State not being like we were less paid, you know, we didn't have as many resources, didn't have, you know, the indoor or whatever, but, you know, we all was in the same boat, and it was a grind. And, you know, I think being out there taught us a lot just about. I mean, they could taught Pete a lot about just, you know, not having much, and, you know, so it's kind of like when you get out here and you got all of these resources and all these connections and all these people who are willing to pour into you, it's like, you know, you don't want to do anything but, you know, take advantage of it and, you know, utilize it while you can, and also reciprocate that same energy. So, you know, I think me and Pete have done a good job here and kind of establishing what the culture was like in New Mexico State.
How tough was it when you had those years off of football just to get back into it?
It was it was difficult. Like I said, I think at some point I was facing like 70 years, and, you know, it's kind of hard for, you know, a sane person to, you know, look at that and be like, oh no, that's not the case. You know, I don't care. But you know, man, at the end of the day, it's like I'm a man of faith, and I know that, you know, worrying doesn't do anything for anybody. And so, like, I just kind of transformed all of those negative emotions and anxiety, and just, you know, put that into the craft and just continued at the game, man, and continued at doing what I love. Just kept making the right next step, and, like I said before, you'll look up and you'll be in the right place with the right people at the right time. And, that's what I just had to get comfortable doing. I think God just kind of slowed me down. I think the way that I was at the time and the way that I was living was not sustainable. It was not a sustainable way. And that wasn't a way that, at the time I was too immature to see that, But, obviously having a lot of time to reflect and, a little bit of spiritual freedom to kind of explore, just explore myself and explore life, a little bit. And, man, being able to walk into an NAI program or a JUCO program or even like a program in New Mexico State and to take everything that, I learned from that whole time and be able to apply it to every team, man, it's just been, that's what I've enjoyed about, and it's made all of this worth it the most, I feel like, I haven't even gotten a chance to really display everything that I'm able to do behind, the type of team that we got, our type of offense we got. But man, I feel like I've been able to inspire a lot of guys, and a lot of guys know that they're fortunate. They're fortunate. Everyone here, everyone standing in this circle right now is extremely fortunate to just be able to do what you want to do.
So how much does that make you just relish this opportunity?
Yeah, I mean, it's every day. Every day I'm cheesing, man. Every day I'm smiling. I come in, I like everything perfect, and I'm all in on this season, man. I'm excited. Like I say, I think this is the most confident I've been in any season in any year that I've ever played football in my entire life, and just because I know the group of guys that we have, and I know what I'm coming with, and I've late nights studying, up early in the film room, working out constantly, like, just because that's the only thing that's on my mind, it's the only thing that's on my heart, and so man, it's nothing short of a blessing for sure.
Talking about maturing